Okay, so I'd like to welcome you all into today's class. So today's class is based on individual differences and diversity in educational psychology, and I'm welcoming you all. And I have an announcement that today is our last topic before final examination that we will cover. So that means today is the last class before we could know anything new for the finals. So everything for the finals should be covered by the ending of this topic. Is that clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay, then I'd like to tell you, yes, many of you have already done pen paper on the table. Good. So let's proceed. Okay, so the introduction. Individual differences and diversity. Okay, so today we are going to be learning about individual differences of learners and diversity of learners. So how that helps in the shape of educational psychology, or in shaping learners and educators' mindset, or the strategies that help students and learners also so that they can have engaged or an effective class, okay, under the roof of educational psychology. Okay, introduction. Definition of individual differences. Well, as I have said to you earlier, today's class will going to be very easier one. Because, well, individual differences, we already know something about individual differences. Forget about educational psychology. We already know something about individual differences by just our common sense, by using our common sense. Yes, we could know that.
Yes, sir.
So these are the things basically we will be amalgamating with educational psychology. Individual differences, cultural diversity, you already have know those things. I am quite a bit sure about that. But we will be amalgamating these things with educational psychology. Well, that's going to be a very easier thing to you guys. I believe, because before that topic we have covered most important and most significant topics, some of the most significant topics, some of the most crucial topics, which was not very easy, never very easy, but you guys still managed to gather, to acquire those topics. So I believe that you will be doing great in this topic also. And this topic, well, it's quite a bit self-explanatory, so I need not to explain it very much and take much time to explain it, but I think we'll be doing that very shortly. We'll be doing that very fast today. Okay, introduction, definition of individual differences. Well, who doesn't know the definition of individual differences? We all are individuals and we all have our differences. That's what they are basically saying there. The variation in cognitive, emotional, and behavioral characteristics among individuals. Please write it down, everyone. So basically, yes, while writing down, let me say, yes, you guys write and just listen to my voice. So the variation in cognitive, that means in our brain, cognition. Okay, emotion, that means sensibility and emotions. And behavioral characteristics among individuals. Well, we all think differently. Cognition. Our cognition works very differently. Our cognition works very differently. Very differently means one person could not basically find any similarity under the roof of cognition to the other person. That means Shubho could think in a particular way, and maybe she could think in another particular way. So they have their differences, individual differences. Variation in cognitive way of thinking, cognition. Emotion also. One may find flower very beautiful, very good. Another person could find flowers very useless. See, emotional differences. We all have our individuality, and we all have our emotional differences. Some of us could say, if one person scolds you, or talks to you very high pitch, in a very high pitch, or talks to you very rudely, one person may think that, well, why does he do that, or why does she do that? This is very inappropriate, and she or he could cry in the result of that scolding or that rude behavior. And another person could think that, hey, whatever, never mind. I do not even be bothered for that behavior, that particular behavior. See, emotional differences also. And behavioral characteristics. Yes, one person could behave very rudely, one person could behave very calm and soothingly in one particular moment. Two different persons could behave in two different ways. That's what we call behavioral characteristics are different from person to person. It varies from person to person.
It can be extrovert, introvert, or neutral.
Well, yes. Behavioral characteristics in an umbrella term, extroverts, introverts could be fallen under the roof of it. Maybe. Okay. So, importance of understanding individual differences in education. Why is it important to understand for us the individual differences in education? Well, it's common sense. To deal with the students of different ideologies, different viewpoints, different worldviews, different moralities, different religion, different culture. We all are different. That's why in a classroom, basically I'm teaching the teachers. I'm not teaching the students. You guys are the teachers of future. Well, while you guys will be dealing with your students, how should you be dealing with your students? That's what I'm basically here standing, just giving a speech and making you understand. Is that clear? Well, why individual differences in education is important, understanding of that? Because we need to deal with each and every student. Maybe she loves in a particular way of teaching, and maybe he could love another particular way of teaching. So I have to take those two things or many things into account to my mind, that yes, my learners have their differences. They are individuals. So I have to meet everyone's end. I have to meet everyone's need to be fulfilled. Is that clear? So that's why it's important. How recognizing differences leads better instructional strategies. Yes. So I have to maintain some strategies. I have to take some strategies to make this class very effective. There are some strategies. So, well, that's another issue. But I always do take some strategies, definitely. Okay, overview of diversity in learning, the impact of culture, social, cognitive differences on education. Yes, write it down. The last point, please, everyone, quickly. Diversity in learning, the impact of culture, social, and cognitive differences in education. Definitely. Diversity forms for the difference, the impact of culture on us, the society, the impact of society on us, and the impact of our cognition on us. Okay. Let's move to the next slide. So theories of individual differences. There are 4 theories. Spearman's two-factor theory of intelligence, Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, Stenberg's triarchate theory of intelligence, and Vygotsky's social cultural theory. Vygotsky's theory, we already talked about that. We already stated that. Okay, so you need not to write that down. Okay, well, you need not to write anything down. Just understand those things. Vygotsky's theory is the most important part, and we already have talked about that. And I would like, well, it is, as this is the last academic class of ours for this semester, I do not like to engage you for various theories very newly, so that you cannot even talk about that, or you cannot even absorb in those theories. So it could be very hard for you if I get that to you, and then your exam would probably be some disposition that we could not even get good marks. So I would not like to write those down, but well, these are not important parts, to be very honest. 1, 2, 3, but yes, this one is very important, and we already talked about that. But please remember one thing, that though it's not in your question paper for the finals, but it's never harmful to know something new.
Yes,
It's never harmful to know something new, but yes, and it's important to understand those things. Okay? So even if it will not be in your exam paper, but still, let's talk about that. Okay, so here's the two factors theory of intelligence: general intelligence, G factor, and specific skill, S factor. So basically, he's talking about two kinds of skills. General skills, generalized, that means common sense, and specific skills, that means you are a teacher, you are a doctor, you are anything. So it basically shapes our psychology by the education. Okay, so psychology shaped by the education. That for example, a doctor's psychology is basically shaped by the education he or she got. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's one. Okay, cognitive theory of multiple intelligence, different intelligence beyond traditional IQ, such as musical, bodily kinesthetic, and interpersonal. Well, Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, well, he's basically talking about that maybe a person, it's not just an IQ, but maybe a person is a good singer, maybe a person is a good athlete, maybe Usain Bolt is the fastest man ever alive in this world. Well, it's a kind of skill also, okay? Kinesthetic. So basically these things also shape their education. And well, not necessarily education, these things also shape their psychology. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Okay, September's triarchic theory of intelligence. Analytical, creative, and practical intelligence. Well, he's basically triarchic theory. Well, first thing, analytics. Analytics means we analyze. Well, we analyze by using our psychology. We analyze anything happening in front of us or maybe behind us, but still we can analyze from collecting the data and analyzing the data. Then we can find a solution creatively. Well, by processing the data, analyzing the data, we can find a solution in a creative way in our mind. The second part. And the third part, the practical implementation. We found a solution to that problem imposed to our mind, then practically we try to solve that problem. The practical intelligence. Okay? So there is a triarchy: analytic, creative, practical. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, and because it's social cultures, you already talked about that. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, cognitive differences, variability in intellectual abilities, differences in IQ, memory, and problem solving. Well, basically, this slide is talking about our differences in cognition. Yes. Why are we different? Why aren't we all the same? Well, in the first slide, we have said that we all are different. We all are different.
Always.
We all have our point of views. We all have our worldview. We all have our culture. We all have our belief system also.
Individual perception.
Indeed. So we all are different. How and why we all are different? Basically, he answered something here. Cognitive difference. Because of our cognition, because of the differences in our cognition, in our brain, in our thinking, in our not emotion. In our analytical ability, we are different. See how? Variability in intellectual abilities, differences in IQs. We all are not in the level of same IQs, intelligent quotients. No, we are not in the same position. Okay, memory, yes. We are not in the same memory person. Come on. Maybe one of you could memorize one page of article within 10 minutes, or maybe another person could take 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Is it possible? Is it real?
Yes.
Definitely, it's very much real. Well, I'm a person well, for example, I'm a person who's not very much known of memorizing something. I'm not very good at memorizing names, especially. I often forgot names. Really, I often forgot names, but I never forgot incidents. I never forgot smell. I never forgot smell. I never forgot incidents. I never forgot any speech. Any speech or any motion. Motion means any picture. Well, today here, 16 people are sitting. 16 people have sitting here in this classroom. Well, I am sure. Well, I still remember. He has a friend who's not present today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. She used to sit in that row in various options in various times, multiple times. Her phone rang at the class once. I also remember that. She used to sit there in her place in various times. And well. And Shubhu is the boy who is very much, annoying, very
Attentive.
Okay. And
Attentive man.
maybe you do not come to the class very frequently. Yes, you.
একটা সুন্দর গেস করেন কিভাবে স্যার?
See, well, it's not guess. I am basically recalling my memory. I am very good at picturing many memory. Well,
Not recalling, sir.
let's examine my memory. Today, you guys are sitting in a position. You guys came to the next class whenever we take the chance and amalgamate with them. I am sure 90% I can say you were sitting in that position, you were sitting in that position, you were sitting in that position. Yes, but still, I do not know the names. I do not know anyone's names except Shubho, because Shubho basically annoys me a lot. That's why. That's the reason. Well, this is how memory works. These are the examples of memory.
Yes, sir.
Well, and I'm not good at names. I forgot his name, but still I remember one thing. His last 3 digits of his ID number 010.
091.
091.
010 is Zubair's number.
Zubair. Oh, sorry.
My IQ is higher than
তোমার কথা মনে নাই বাদ দাও
That person. That part.
সুমনা
ও খাচ্ছিল ওর কথা মনে করেন তো কিন্তু ভুলে গেছে
ওর একটু বলেন যে ও পিছনে বসে সামনে একটু
No. Okay, so this is how basically we all have different memories. Well, I'm good at memorizing scene. I'm very bad at memorizing memories or memorizing lectures. Okay, that's why from the very beginning. Well, see, this is basically that thing basically helps me a lot. Why? I'm very bad at memorizing letters, essays, paragraphs. So from the very childhood, from class 1, 2, I have not been able to memorize those lines from any type of any letters or anywhere. So I used to become very creative. Well, I thought that okay, I will not memorize it. I just have that particular theme. Then I will write on my own. See, from that particular reason, from that very beginning, I have to understand how language works. Otherwise, I cannot deliver the exact sentences or the correct sentences because I cannot memorize. So that I have to learn the structure. Okay, these structures we can or I can imply into my writing. So I used to read that passage or read that lecture or writing or letters, then I just cherry pick those themes. Okay, this letter is for leave an application or write a letter to your friend to join your picnic. So I just cherry picked the main theme, then I have written it on my own. That's why I basically become a good writer from that very beginning. So basically, that's how your psychology, your education shapes your learning process and learning theories also. If I could be a good memorized person, or I could have a good memory in order to, or under the roof of writing pieces, or just memorizing those letters, those essays, those paragraphs, I could never be in need of achieving good writing hands. No, I just could memorize and then I could write it down. But I could never memorize, so that I have to learn how to write. Then I just cherry picked some theme and then I have written it on my own language. That's why my non-memorizing technique basically helps me to attain good marks in English and in language. Well, I'm not good basically in only English language. I could become very good at any language. Language is basically my thing from the very beginning, because I cannot memorize. See, one disability can give you such a strength that basically some able persons could never be able to do that. See, this is how your education, or well, your psychology shapes your learning process and learning path. Okay, very good in intellectual abilities, differences in IQ, memory, and problem solving. Yes, we already talked about that. Learning disabilities, common conditions like
Dyslexia.
yes, that's right. ADHD, ADHD. Come on.
I hear the term.
Attention deficit. I don't know.
Hyperactive disorder.
Yeah.
The ADHD. Well, ADHD and common condition like dyslexia and autism spectrum disorders. Well, ADHD. You guys know those who have ADHD could be good learners. Basically, they have a very strong and very much quick, responsive brain. They do not have that. They do not have that time to process. Okay, they just process immediately. That means their brain works very fast. So if we basically make them if you want to make them a good learner, we have to use that brain and their fast working pace accordingly. If we can use that in a particular way, the ADHD learners, there's a journal maybe from the Harvard University medical school, Harvard Medical School, well, they have said, biologists have said, I just forgot the paper name, but I remember biologists have said those kids who have ADHDs at the early stage of their lives, they are prone to become very good engineers at the later part of their lives. Yes, because they have that ability to process any data within the fraction of a second. Definitely. So ADHDs, yes, definitely it's a disorder, but if we can use it for our own sake, in a controlled way, it could be a better thing to have. Okay, differences in problem solving and critical thinking, variation in reasoning ability and adaptability. Well, still these things actually, some of us could see. Okay.
Illuminati.
Okay. Can anyone say which shape would be in the number 4 position?
Yes.
Which shape?
এটার অপোজিটটা হবে
Which one?
লাস্টের অপোজিটটা হবে
That means
Somebody
This
part
one.
will be facing on the right side.
এক্স্যাক্টলি
okay. And what is the logic behind it?
স্যার কারণ 3 আর 2 টা জাস্ট অপোজিট অফ ইচ আদার সো 1 আর 4 টা হবে অপোজিট অফ
Follow
ইচ
the
আদার
pattern.
Well, is it so? Is it this pattern, or maybe is it rotating?
It is rotating.
It is rotating in the clockwise rotation.
So
Or
clockwise,
basically,
maybe three.
one rotation is clockwise, then the opposite direction. Clockwise, opposite. Clockwise, opposite. See? Clockwise, opposite. That means clockwise.
Sir, clockwise
Now
opposite,
again,
so
Clockwise, then opposite. Clockwise, then opposite. See?
no sir.
Clockwise.
ক্লকওয়াইজ ওকে এটা ক্লকওয়াইজ হ্যাঁ এটা ক্লকওয়াইজ তারপর এটা অপোজিট
So then opposite. Then it should be in the clockwise. Then the fifth number should be
So
this one.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
So number 3,
Uh-huh.
it should be number 1 if according to your theory.
এক্স্যাক্টলি
Clockwise.
Then if I
Opposite.
anti-clockwise, only one step, sir. It's two steps, sir.
Opposite.
Yes, sir. Opposite, sir. Oh, sorry. Yes. Now, okay.
I've been to Jamina University IB department for 2 months before admitting in Nagpur University, and they basically used to teach that. And I taught some ICSB candidates. They actually have to psychometrics and what does it say? What does it say? PPTT and
কিছু একটা সামথিং
no. Let me say. Screened out, screened in, those things, yes. So basically, these things, the shapes, basically, problem solving and critical thinking. Basically, it's not critical thinking, it's problem solving. Well, in order to get into the Bangladesh Military Academy as an officer cadet, you have to be a problem solver. Okay? So basically, they check if you can solve the problem or not. If you can find the logic from that particular problem or not. Yes, that's the basically cognitive difference. Yes, some of us could find some logics here, and some of us could not find any logic here. Well, some of us could say, hey, how could this work? This is not working anywhere. This is not, yeah, I mean, how could we answer something from there? See, this is how cognitive differences work from individual students, okay? So this is problem solving. Critical thinking is another way. Critical thinking is basically on the level of discourse and all of these things. Okay, the case study, a student with dyslexia in a mainstream classroom and impact of tailored environments. Well, case study is not that much important, but here, everyone, differences in problem solving and critical thinking. Well, these things are basically quite self-explanatory. Why? I mean, what should I explain it? Yes, we have some differences in problem solving and critical thinking, just like these examples. Okay, so there's nothing to write from this. From this slide. Okay, so then next slide, emotional and social differences. Emotional intelligence. Yes, write down emotional intelligence. That's the most important part. Well, for me, it's a very important part because I believe some of my very close person, very close. Okay, one name I can say to you, my mother, definitely. So, and my mother, apart from my mother also, some of the closest person of mine have said to me, I lack emotional intelligence. I do not know whether maybe they are correct, maybe they are not. Well, I do not know, but they have said I lack emotional intelligence. That means the amount of emotional intelligence should have been within me is not sufficient enough. I don't know why. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I don't know. Okay, the role of self-awareness, empathy, and emotional regulation and learning. See, most important here, self-awareness. Well, self-awareness, that means, am I aware of myself? Do I know who I am, and do I know what I like? Do I know in which style I should prepare my learning? Yes, definitely. At least we should try to think about that. Okay, empathy. Empathy is the most important part here. Emotional intelligence relies on empathy to the very core of it. We have to be empathized. We have to be sympathized.
Sympathy.
Okay? Sympathy, empathy.
Empathy.
Okay. And emotional regulation. Yes. I have to be logical as well as I have to be emotional also.
Yes.
Well, logic says if you have not studied throughout the semester, then the before night, you have to study the whole night. But, well, this is the emotion, could say. But logic says if you just study for the whole night, before night of the examination would help, then you could feel sleepy in the examination center. So do not try to do that. Sleep well before night on the examination. Is that clear?
Yes.
So we have to be emotional as well as we have to be logical at the very same time. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, social adaptability, how students interact with peers and teachers. Yes, emotional and social differences, that's important also. Write it down. Social adaptability, how students adapt basically the social pressure, the peer pressure, the teachers, counseling and everything. Personality types is also important. C, you have said introvert, extrovert. This falls under the roof of personality types. It's basically the personality types. Some of the learners could be introvert, some of the learners could be extrovert. Maybe for introvert learners, I could assign some assignments. They could do well. Or for the extrovert learners, I could assign a public speech. Huh? Okay, come and say something in front of us for 2 minutes. It could be helpful for extroverts. And the assignment, the written assignment could be helpful for the introverts. See, learning strategies should be different for the different types of learners. Am I correct?
Correct.
But in vice versa, if an introvert, or if I just pick an introvert and say, tell something, he or she could be feeling very much shy, and he or she could not be able to judge her, the judgment of her education. Well, I could not judge it properly because he or she is feeling shy. That's why, if I do it vice versa, if a person who's very introvert and I make him stand here and tell him or her speak, that could not be good. That could not be a good strategy. So as teachers, as educators, we have to find it out which strategy will work for my students and for the individual students. Is it feasible for him or her, then go for it. If is it not feasible for him or her, do not go for it.
I have the questions.
Yes, sir. We do have questions.
So actually, sometimes what teachers do actually, as teacher know his students, what his student
Teacher
can
knows
do.
the student. Yes, sir.
Yes. Then he can actually make a challenge to his students.
Well. Yes. Oh, he has pointed out a very important question there. Yes, sir. If teacher challenges the student so that he or she could overcome, maybe
Exactly.
overcome his or her fear, yes, that's the important strategy also. That's what we will be talking about some part later. But from the initial stage, I'm saying, if he or she wants to overcome his or her fear, then I have to prepare the ground first. I have to tell her first or him first that, okay, do not fear, come on, it's not a problem. Okay, if you do not want to talk for 2 minutes, no problem, just tell me your name and go. But tell it in front of everyone. See, there's a groundbreaking system. There's a ground-making system.
Maybe
But before that, as an exam, I'm saying, as an exam, I should not put an introvert student in front of you guys. Because that will harm his or her, numbers or marks. Will it be good for you guys? Will it be good for you? No. Okay. See, supporting an introvert student in group activities to enhance engagement. See, hey, I said to you, that's what I'm talking about. supporting an introvert student in a group activities to enhance engagement. First, let him or her engage with his or her friends. Then, make her stand here, not before that. See, it's a chronological process. Okay. Learning styles and multiple intelligence, visuals, auditory and kinesthetic learning styles. Well, it's quite a bit easier. Some of us could learn from visuals. Yes, I could learn from visuals. Auditory, well, I could not learn from auditory much. I can learn from smells and visuals. And kinesthetic, basically, I mean, doing
Practical.
no, it's not basically practical. Yes, it's definitely practical, but not only the practical thing. It's basically amalgamating many other skills, many other styles in one particular way.
Yes.
Okay? How students absorb information differently? Yes, definitely. Regardless, multiple intelligence, linguistic, logical, mathematical, spatial, bodily, kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, interpersonal and intrapersonal. Do we know that?
Yes, sir.
What? Okay. What is intrapersonal?
Interpersonal.
Intrapersonal. This one.
Individual. Individual will.
Individual within individual.
Interpersonal. It's not interpersonal.
It's intra.
Right?
And interpersonal means person to other person.
Okay. And intra.
Intra means person within the other version of him.
No. How much
A
consistent?
person within him or herself.
Exactly.
That means basically a person within him or herself. Okay. So interpersonal, person to person, intrapersonal, a person within him or herself.
Exactly.
Okay, and naturalistic. Well, Gardner's multiple intelligence. That means Gardner's theory that yes, a learner could have been such a various way that each and every learner is basically individual. So each and every learner could have some support from these logical patterns. Okay, some of us could be linguistically better, some of us could be logically better, some of us could be bodily kinesthetically better, some of us could be musical, some of us could be emotional, anything. Okay, so basically it differs from person to person, from learners to learners. Is that clear? And most important part is not going to be coming to your final examination, but still it's nothing to harm. Okay, it's never harm learning new things. Isn't it fun learning new thing?
Yes.
Even if it's not coming to your final examination.
Yes, then it's fun.
Okay, the classroom strategies, adapting lessons to accommodate different learning preferences. Yes, write it down, everyone. This is important. This is really important. Final finals. Classroom strategies. A teacher, basically, if I ask you, write some classroom strategies. If you have to write, with examples, that if a teacher, well, I just gave you the example. If a teacher finds out that one of his or her student is feeling very shy, that means she or he is very a shy person or introvert kind of a personality holder. So the teacher should first make the ground for him or her. That means how? Make him engage with her personally and make engagement among the students. Make the group and input her to one group so that she or he can engage with the other friends so that the ground could be made of. Then the teacher could say his student, that particular student, his or her, that particular student, that okay, come in front of the stage and brief us so that the fear would be vanished off. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. So cultural and linguistic diversity, cultural background and learning, basically, definitely students, influences of tradition, values and beliefs on education, definitely. We all have cultural and linguistic diversity and our culture basically shapes our minds and our culture basically shapes our educational policies also and our psychology, definitely. Okay, so you do not need to, you need not to write those down, but just understand cultural background and learning basically have an impact on our psychology as well as our education. Okay, language barriers, definitely challenges faced by ESL, English as a second language learners. Yes, we, us, they're basically talking about us. We are the ESL learning English as a second language, or maybe EFL, English as a foreign language learners. So basically we face various challenges, especially cultural challenges. Well, I'm talking in English in this classroom, but still I cannot, we cannot, even if I can do some references in the English cultural setting, maybe some of you or many of you could not get that cultural property or could not get that cultural illusion because we have never been to Britain, we have never been to America, so we could never know why they basically talk in that particular way or why they basically mean this thing by saying or by writing in this particular way. Okay, so that language barrier definitely plays a vital role in order to shape our culture and linguistic diversity or uphold our culture and linguistic diversity. Am I clear to you guys? Okay, strategies for inclusive education is important. Multicultural curricula and bilingual education. Well, it's basically for the government to follow. The policymakers should be following these things, the strategies. They should take the strategies for an inclusive education. Yes, we say no man left behind. Definitely, we want an inclusive society where everyone can have their right, where everyone can enjoy their life. Okay, multicultural curricula and bilingual education should be supported by the government, by the policymakers, so that we can build an inclusive society and an inclusive country for all. For all. Okay. Okay, case studies and multilingual customer techniques for effective communication, that's not very much important, but strategies for inclusive education is important. Yeah. Okay. Gender differences in learning. Well, this is something I never want to talk about. I do not believe in gender biases. In my opinion, there should not be any gender biases. Are you a biased person?
No.
Definitely. See, we all here, unbiased person, still we hate feminism. Well, that's a joke, that's a joke. Okay, so gender differences in learning. That was a joke, come on.
Yes, sir. Jokes of the
Sorry, that was a joke.
Jokes of the
I like feminism, no problem. Peace. Okay, research on gender learning preferences, studies on cognitive and behavioral differences. Yes, gender differences in learning. Maybe there are some gender differences in learning, but maybe some of the critics have argued that. Why? Well, in Bangladesh, for example, in Bangladesh, in the rural area, okay, the girls go to school, the boys go to school, but the girls go to school by doing their household chores, after doing their household chores. But boys go to the school after finishing the play. After finishing the play, boys at the very short age, at the very beginning of their life, they do not work. Even if the boy's father is not necessarily farmer, the boy's father does not work. The boy's father doesn't work, still the boy will not work. Maybe his mother could work for their family. So, see, a girl, maybe an 8-year-old girl or a 7-year-old girl from Rangamati, so maybe she's reading in class 2. She has an elder brother in her, younger brother. She has a younger brother in her home. So basically, for example, class starts from 10 a.m. in the morning. So she goes to school after feeding her brother. It's a very common scenario. Come on, don't look surprised. Don't be surprised. Isn't it a very common scenario in Bangladesh?
Yes, sir.
An 8-year-old girl could go to school after finishing the household chores. Well, don't go to that place. Many of you guys came here after working throughout the whole week. And most of the girls came here working throughout the whole week as well as maintaining their families also. Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong. See, that's the main feminism. Not sad. Come on. Sad. But we have to address it first. Hey! No. You do not
That's
have,
biasness actually.
no, that's not biasness. Well, well, it's not biases. Okay, let me very clear. Let me make it very clear for you. Okay, in your home, who made the meal?
I make them.
You make the meal for whom? Hey, wait. For how many persons?
For me and others.
For me and others, and who are the others?
They are like my family.
They are like his family. They are not his family. Definitely, they are not his father and mother. Ask him.
Yes.
See, but you make meals. Yes, you make meals in your home. For whom? For whom? Everybody encompasses with your father, your mother. Okay, your mother. Okay. Do you have your husband? Okay, so your father, your mother, your brother, your sisters. Okay, your brother, father, mother, and brother. That means your main family, not like your family. She makes meal for our own family. You make meal in maybe in a mess. So on the assigned day.
Exactly.
Assigned day. Hi, assigned days every day. Ask. Your assigned days every day, huh? See, this is not biasness. This is the real truth. Come on, we have to face it. We have to accept it. If we do not face the real truth, that could call biasness. See, that's why gender differences in learning definitely takes into place. See, the girl, well, I'm not basically uplifting them. I'm basically talking about that particular thing that the girl knows from the very beginning of her age, from the very beginning of her childhood, and 8 years old girl, come on, she doesn't know everything. She knows, but she knows in order to study, in order to sustain in this life, she has to work more than her brother. She has to work more than her brother. She has to feed the younger brother. She has to do some household chores. Then she can have that luxury, quote unquote. She have that luxury to go to the school. Yes, nowadays basically times are changing. Nowadays we could see any difference. I mean, many different things in nowadays. But I'm not talking about only these days. These are the studies which have been conducted for centuries. I'm talking from the very beginning of this century, not basically from this century, from the previous century also, from 1900. From 1900, and definitely you guys do not have any opposing ideas. From 1900 I'm saying, now say, can you oppose from 1900?
Difference.
Nowadays, basically, times are changing. Yes, I can address that. I can say maybe she looks very idle and she looks very lazy. Maybe she doesn't make any meal. Maybe she doesn't make any meal for herself also.
It's the opposite of mine, sir.
Okay, see, these are biases. See, okay. Gender differences in learning, research of gender learning preferences, studies of cognitive and behavioral differences.
Yes, sir. Apple side over to sir.
Hey, so the behavioral differences. Well, I've said I think my thinking should not always remain the correct one.
But
Yes,
sir,
sir.
they have got the point.
They've got the point. Well, so let them have that point. Let them have something at least. Well, I made him very sad by stating by basically upholding her favor. So at least let him have something. It's a class. Okay, so stereotypes and biases. See, biases. Hey, Shubho, there's a biases. See, your favorite topic. Stereotypes and biases, addressing gender-related expectations. Not only in education, well, they are basically talking in education, but not only in education, expectations in life. My family expects from me what? I have my particular role. I have. Yeah, hey, who said that? Who said that? Great! Good boy! Exactly. Only, well, let me tell you one moral quote from, I do not know, maybe a Scandinavian quote. Only, hey everyone, only women and children are loved unconditionally. A man is loved for
His money.
his money. Well, not only the money, a man is loved for the money he spends. A man is loved for the money he spends, and only women and children loved unconditionally. It's not my thinking, it's not my bias. I'm not saying it in front of me. I'm basically quoting from another Scandinavian quote, basically. I found it in Facebook. Yeah. Okay, so these are the basically stereotypes and biases. Okay, creating gender inclusive learning environments. Yes, that's the reason. That's the reason why we are basically putting this slide into this account. Okay, gender inclusive learning environments. Yes. See, gender inclusive learning environment means in a classroom, boy, girl, male, female, everyone can learn in a particular way, as not opposites but as equals. Okay. Please write it down. This one. This one is important. Gender inclusive learning environment. As an educator, you guys will be doing that, inshallah. You will be you will be creating a classroom, you will be conducting a classroom where every gender student could sit, could enjoy your class equally. Equally. I basically tried that very hard in my class. Basically, for that reason, some of the girls could think that I am anti-feminist, some of the boys could think I'm feminist. Well, I'm none of those. I'm none of those.
Sometimes some people.
Indeed. Some people could think, okay, he's maybe Awami. Some people could say, hey, he's maybe BNP. Well, I'm none of those. Okay. So, implications for teaching and learning: differentiated instruction, customized lessons to suit diverse learning needs, adaptive teaching strategies, utilizing technology, scaffolding and compensation learning, personalized learning approaches, leveraging AI and individualized lesson plans. Everyone write those things down. Implications for teaching and learning. Yes. How we imply write everything down quickly. Hey, you write that down. This is important for your final examination also. Hey, these are very easy. Come on. Implications for teaching and learning. So, teaching and learning under the roof of everyone. Under the roof of teaching and learning, what are the implications of individualism and diversities? Differentiated instruction, definitely. Customized lesson to suit diverse learning needs, definitely. One teacher should customize his or her lesson in order to accommodate every diversified students. Clear? Clear? Okay. Adaptive teaching strategies. Yes, that's the basically extended version of the first part. Adaptive teaching strategies, utilizing technology, scaffolding, and cooperative learning. Yes, one teacher should cooperate, should utilize technology so that every learner with the differences, could adapt that learning, could enjoy that class, and could learn that from that class at least something. Is that clear? Okay, personalized learning approaches, leveraging AI, artificial intelligence, and individualized lesson plans. Yes, individualized lesson plans. This is basically very much, this thing, last one, will work for the early stage of learners. From nursery or KG 1, 2, those. These are basically very much effective for language learning, for word learning, letters learning, the math, the logical learning process. Okay. Done. Good. Quickly. Oh, no. Oh, it's okay not to be okay, huh? Okay, next. Inclusive education and strategies. Yes, inclusive. Inclusive means we have to make inclusive society. We have to no gender bias, no political bias, no communal bias, no religious bias. We have to include everyone means inclusive. Include everyone means great. Universal design for learning, making education accessible to all students. accommodation for special needs. Definitely, if there is a person who needs special attention, I have to give him or her special attention. As a teacher, it's my moral ground, it's my moral duty to give proper attention to everyone, and if there is a special needs student, I have to give him or her special treatment. See, accommodation for special needs. Okay, importance of teaching, training, professional development in diversity and inclusion. Well, these are the things quite a bit self-explanatory, aren't they?
Yes.
These are the quite self-explanatory things. They're quite explaining themselves, aren't they? Write it down, everyone. These are important. Hey, come on, write it down. Okay, so,
Sir, just sir.
okay. Quickly, make it fast. We do not have much time. Well, it's looking good with this new pair of cats.
Thank you so much,
She understood why I said that. Okay, do it fast. Okay, there are some case studies and real world applications. Example 1, supporting a student with ADHD through structured routines and assistive technology. Everyone. Example 1, supporting a student with ADHD through structured routines and assistive technology. Example 1, you do not need to write that. You need not to write those down. So, example 2, addressing cultural diversity by integrating global perspective into lessons. Yes, that's the thing I always do in this classroom. Huh? Don't I?
Yes, you do.
See, addressing cultural diversity. I always say cultural diversity by integrating global perspective into the lessons. Global perspective, feminism, humanism, socialism, democracy. I already talked about those in this classroom. Haven't I?
Yes, sir, last day.
Last day, not only the last day, throughout the whole semester. Okay, and example 3, implementing differentiated instruction for students with varying cognitive entities. Yeah, definitely, but that's not very much important case. Example 1 and 2 is important, but not for your finals, but for your understanding. Okay, challenges and solutions. Everyone, we will face some challenges in order to do that. So, we have to find some solutions also as well. Okay, common challenges, managing diverse classroom, addressing biases and resource limitations. Well, let's talk about first thing, resource limitations. Yes, we could have limited resources. We could not have a TV in the classroom. We could not have the internet connection in the classroom. So, how we could manage them? We have to manage them. We have to face the challenges. Well, addressing biases. See, one could think that the sir may be an anti-feminist. Shubha could think sir may be a feminist person. See, addressing biases is the toughest job that an educator or that a teacher could ever have. Okay, and diverse classrooms. Well, we do not find that here in this country because we are here. Well, all of us quite a bit. At least most of us monolingual. That means we all know Bengali. We all basically are the stakeholders of the same culture. Is that clear? I mean, is it right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that challenge is not very much effective or that very much common in our context, in our country, but this one is very common and the last one is the most common. Okay? Limitation of resources. Because we are in a poor country, so we always have the limitations in order to use the resources. Okay, effective strategies, encouraging collaboration, using technology, and fostering inclusivity. Well, let's talk about fostering inclusivity. Yes. See, I already have talked about that. We do not need to support feminism in order to support our female who are doing really great. Not only in their household, but in outside of their household also. Come on, this is basically fostering inclusivity. We all can cheer for our mother. We all can have a clap for our fathers also. See, that's what we should call inclusivity. We have to, in order to building an inclusive society, we have to become a moral and inclusive person first. Then we can build a society. First build yourself, then build others in the society, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the role of the stakeholders, teachers, parents, and policymakers working together for inclusive education. See, I already talked about that. It's not only the teachers, but the parents, policymakers are also. Policymakers means the politicians, the government. That's right, the government. Well, there's the challenges. There are some challenges, and there's a solution. You need not to write that down, but please understand these things, okay? So that you can have that gist, or you can have that essence in the answers. Whichever answer you are answering, you can give the examples, okay? So the future perspectives, advances in educational psychology, ongoing research and methodologies. Yes, the researchers are basically trying hard, trying their own soul. Artificial intelligence, AI, and personalized learning, the future of adaptive education. See, some days ago, if we face some problems, we could ask Google. Now the paradigm has shifted. The paradigm has shifted to ChatGPT or DeepSeek. AI. Basically, we used to ask Google. Now, even if we ask Google, the Google itself basically shows the result from AI.
Yes,
Say? Okay, so basically artificial intelligence and personalized learning, fostering more inclusive classroom strategies for ongoing improvement in education. So in order to improve the education, we have to build an inclusive classroom and an inclusive society as well. Okay, summary of key takeaways: recognizing individual differences enhances education, inclusive strategies benefits all learners, the role of educators in diversity management. Yes, everyone write everything down quickly.
Everything, sir.
Yes, from here. Quickly. Everything in these slides.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Quick.
One of the longest class in this. It never
Yes,
be shortened.
it should be. It should be.
But you said it will be the short class.
Indeed, it basically would take 2 classes, and I have shortened 2 classes into 1 class. That's why I told you that it could be a short class.
yes.
It's basically a 2 classes confined within 1 class. Indeed. See, my speculation was correct. That you are a lazy person.
No, sir, little bit.
Okay, see?
Never mind, sir.
Oh, indeed.
It's your perception that what I am.
See, that good. That's good.
Sir,
See, that's how we should take the perceptions. Very, very practically and very positively. That's what the first step to building an inclusive classroom, and the second step to an inclusive society. Thank you. Quickly. Done? Maybe she can cook quick as well. She can write quick, maybe she can cook quick also. It's good. It's
The
good.
ending was good, sir.
Hmm?
After lots of botany, it's good.
Oh my goodness. Come on, take everything. Okay, after this, there's the end of today's class. Thank you. There are some reference section also. Would you please turn that my off?